Joseph and Herbert, if I look, for example, to what is going on with our healthcare, I am very worried as a professional in the field of healthcare, and I do believe that a lot has to happen in the field of healthcare. I had coincidentally yesterday, I was a guest speaker because it was yesterday the International of the World Diabetes Day, and I had a presentation about the health status of our country. And I reflected it in the impact of poverty, what the effects are for the general health of our people, of our country. And I reflected it by giving the people that were there as an audience an idea about the prevalence of diseases in our country. What I mean with prevalence is how does this disease manifest itself statistically in our country. And I can give you a few figures. For example, with patients with hypertension, is high blood pressure. There are in our country 1 out of each 3 persons living in this country above the 18 years suffer from hypertension. And 1 out of each 6 persons living in Sint Maarten has sugar disease, what we call diabetes. And 2 out of 3 citizens living here in Sint Maarten has obesity, is overweight. And we were asking ourselves not only that we have a high prevalence compared to the rest of the world for hypertension, high blood pressure and sugar, but also that we see that we have a high presentation of complications of those diseases. For example, in 1999, when I started working as a surgeon, I used to amputate 1 or 2 patients per 6 months as a consequence of complications of the sugar disease. And nowadays, I'm filling my list with 1 or 2 patients, actually 2 patients per week that gets an amputation either from a toe, 2 toes, front part of the foot, ankle level, underleg amputation, or even upper leg amputation. Just to show you in all these years, when I started in 1999 till now, instead of we improving in our statistics, showing the world that we're improving in combating diseases like hypertension and diabetes, we're ending up now seeing that we are amputating more persons and people per week compared to 1999. So it's very impressive what is going on in our healthcare nowadays. Loose to that, Herbert, we have of course a hospital that the people can wait to get as a present to help them and give them hope in a nation. I believe there are some fundamental pillars that gives inner rest in the souls of the people is if they wake up in the country and they feel that there is a health care, reliable health care that can back them up. And I see that we are promising a structure called the New General Hospital, but we are not giving the people enough signals that we are working on a promising institution that can take care of ourselves, our family, our kids, our next of kin, and our society. And it's very sad that we started promising the people a hospital, and today it's a witness for everybody. You can pass there and see, and not much is going on. While our people are sick, they need help, they need health care, they need doctors, they need nurses, they need a good accommodation. And until now, the governments, they have not been able to give a direction in this construction of this new health institution to give the people of Sint Maarten hope that something great is coming towards the people of this country. We have been living too long in a society, especially in the past 4 years, without anything significant being presented to our people to give our people hope that they are living in a country that is promising and giving prosperity. That is my opinion. I know what you think, Herbert.
I wanted to comment on that. I am no healthcare practitioner, and I don't try to be one. And a lot of times we see people going on a list and trying to say, hey, I have the answers to everything. However, I had the privilege to travel to Panama recently to accompany someone who was doing a surgery, okay? Mm-hmm. And the level of healthcare that I saw there, I mean, it was next to none, doc, Mm-hmm. Everything, they did tests, they walk you through, they explained you, and the little English that they spoke, They explain you and everything. And here I'm saying, and I'm seeing people walking every Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday into this clinic and into this hotel. All right. And I'm seeing a lot of people from St. Maarten going there. My question is, okay, they're going there. And in the meantime, we are promising the people a hospital, a full-fledged hospital. Good. What level of care do we want in this hospital?
Okay, Herbert, that's one. That's first question.
That's one.
You want us to ask me the second one or just stick to the first one?
Let's stick to the first one.
Herbert, we are making a cardinal mistake in this country. We think that building a hospital is building a concrete structure. Building a hospital is presenting a total new concept, a new soul for the people of Sint Maarten. We are building a hospital, and we never in this country on government level ask ourselves what is the level of care that we want for the people of this country. Wow. So we are just building a structure, and we didn't ask ourselves these specific questions. Do we want, for example, a neurosurgeon in Sint Maarten? Do we want to do open heart surgery or not? I mean, these are relevant questions. You must only know, can I afford a heart surgery? Do I have enough patients with heart problems that will be considered to be proposed heart surgery or not? It has a lot to do with epidemiology, we call it, with statistics. Do we have enough of that type of disease to get a whole full-fledged department to take care of that? If that is not the case, if you have 1 or 2 brain tumors in the population per year, it's impossible and not visible to bring a neurosurgeon, have a whole neurosurgical department, while you're going to get 1 or 2 cases per year. So you have to balance it and see, if I bring this, it's going to be sufficient, it's going to be in a way that it's worth it to spend this money to have this specialization on the island. And yes, why? Because we have enough of this pathology that will be taken care of. But if you have some diseases that sporadically presents in a community and you don't have a huge enough populace, it's going to be very difficult to do that. So what is happening, those specific cases, we will have to continue referring for abroad medical treatment. There's no problem with that. We can do that. But first of all, we have to ask ourselves until what level we want to go. So do we want neurosurgery or not? No, if we don't want it, okay, next. Do we want heart surgery or not? Do we want a mental health department at next to the building or not, because we have the Mental Health Foundation outside the organization? We have to ask ourselves, do we want a clinical psychiatric department as a wing in the hospital or not? I think we should have that. Are we building a hospital with extra wings for psychiatric care or not? I don't know. Do you understand? Yeah. So we are doing something, and a lot of people are very enthusiastic to do something, what I understand, but we have to be very, very keen in the choices that we make, because you have to realize that we don't have a finance in abundance to spend in the society to take care of healthcare. So whatever choice we make, we have to make sure that we have the budget, the finance to back this up, to give continuity to that specific service once we make that choice.
Yeah, and I must say, when I ask you these questions, I'm hearing different politicians and different ministers. They're saying that, listen, we can have this hospital, and then we will have people flying in from Statia, Saba, Anguilla. But there is no plan on that. We're hoping that this will happen in order to fund or get some necessary infusion of some dollars into our economy, right? But without a plan, a logistical plan, I mean, these plans are futile. And what I'm seeing here as well is people are asking, okay, Herbert Martina, URSM, Dr. Marcelina, Mr. Peterson, what is the solution?
Okay, first of all, that's a good statement you just made. We have to realize that we are part of the kingdom and that we are servicing 2 best islands, being Statia and Zeeland. The kingdom of the Netherlands, they have some benefit if they have a good referral hospital outside the best that can take care of their clients. So if I was Sint Maarten, I would go to the kingdom government and tell them, listen guys, let partner in this hospital and please co-finance this hospital, but we are going to manage this hospital. So the Netherlands also knows that the people of their kingdom, their Netherlands, being a buitengewone gemeente, like Stasia and Seba, that their healthcare is taken care of on hospital level. But we are not including especially the financial potential that the Dutch government can contribute for us to finalize. We realize that we don't have the finance, the budget to keep this project going. Include the kingdom, because they have also interest that there is a good hospital to take care of the people of Seba and Stasia that are part of the Netherlands, because they are buitengewone gemeentes from the Netherlands. And it would be great if Sint Maarten would get the investment and we service these two communities too. But these are ways to look at it, to get more stable financing to finance the project called the construction of a new general hospital.
Definitely.
But there is another challenge, Herbert and Joseph, that is the financing of the healthcare as such. So how are we going to finance the healthcare? Because we are now in a very delicate balance with what we still have in the funds by the SZV. So now we have to go and think about how are we going to finance the healthcare for country Sint Maarten. We have to realize we have 80,000 people living in this country. People don't believe it, I'm telling you. 20,000 are undocumented, 20,000 are elderly, and average 20,000 are children, and there is a 20,000 that is active on the labor market. So you have to realize that at the end of the day, it's the 20,000 that pays premiums to keep a populace of 80,000 going in consumption level of healthcare. I do not know a financial economic model in which 20,000 pay premium for 80,000 people to enjoy healthcare. So you have to think very, very good about the national health insurance, because that means that you're expecting 20,000 people to pay for 80,000. And I didn't talk yet about having Sint Maarten in the hurricane belt. Once a hurricane hits the island, everybody's going to lose their job. Those that can pay those 20,000 will not be able to contribute their monthly premium because they lose their job. And then is the question, how are we going to guarantee continuity of financing of the healthcare for the people of this country? Yeah. So we have to be very, very aware about choices that we make, and don't think that we're going to just elevate the premium and think in that way that we're going to be able to give continuity to the financing of healthcare. That will not be the case.
Yeah. Doc, I wanted to continue with the story of going to Panama, and I'm seeing that we're seeing different specialists there.
Yep.
And then I'm asking myself, hey, wouldn't it be great for these specialists to be able to work in St. Maarten? And then when I come to you and I said, Doc, I know this great person in Panama, in Colombia, wherever it is. But guess what? To work here, they cannot work here.
They cannot work.
Why? Because they are not registered with the BIG.
Yes.
Okay.
The BIG registration, that is a big law. That is a law from the Netherlands for the kingdom. It stands for de beroepen in de gezondheidszorg. De beroepen in de gezondheidszorg. And that is, you have to be BIG registered to be able to work in the kingdom. Nothing wrong, it's a law. But the way we are a country in the kingdom, I believe that we will have to have our own BIG registration. And Herbert, as you know, I discussed it with you too. I have a draft BIG-like draft law in which I have a design for a medical healthcare professional registry for professionals for country Sint Maarten. That means that we as a country are going to determine which specialists we want in our country and what is the level of the specialists that we need in our country. And we determine that. We don't leave the Netherlands do that for us. Why? Because we are a country We assume and we have the responsibility for our country. We made a political choice to be a country, and I think at a certain moment you will have to dare to take decisions on this level too, in the perspective of nation building. So that's why I have a draft law, and I believe that we will be able to design or further work out this draft law that I will present immediately once we're in government, for us to make sure that we will have the control on the specialists that we are going to admit in our country to work for us. I believe that is better than having, for example, the situation that we have now, that we fly in Dutch specialists for 2-3 weeks. The intention is good. I'm grateful that they are here to look at my sick patients from my country. But if you are very critical for the guaranteeing of continuity of care, it's going to be very difficult to maintain a good level standard if the specialist is only for 2-3 weeks and being replaced every 2-3 weeks. I think that is not good for the continuity. So if I have a problem in my healthcare, I come to you first. After 2 weeks, I go back. I expect to see you back. You tell me no. The nurse will tell me no, that doctor left. There's another doctor is going to look at you, and then I have to start telling my story again, and then it's not clear why the first doctor started with that treatment while this one wanted to do it in another way. So I think for the continuity of good health care, we will have to work to have specialists that will be here for a long period of time to give good continuity and good care. And not only that, so I want them to live here. I want them to start loving my country and feel committed and engaged with the healthcare issues from the people of my country.
Yeah, well,
Joseph,
I have a friend, and he went to get a appointment for neuro checkup, and he cannot get an appointment right now. He has to wait 2 months till next year, January, before he can get an appointment.
Yes.
It's backed up so much.
We have actually one neurologist, and once in a blue moon, a second one is being flown in from the Netherlands. But we have here 80,000 people, as I tell you, living here. So one specialist cannot handle all the pathology of all the neurological diseases that can present. So actually, it's a wrong thing that's going on. We have to make sure that we get more specialists on our island. The biggest challenge for Sint Maarten on the short term is to start working drastically with vision on nation building. And that means nation building is enhancing, increasing your professional treasury for your country. If you don't have professionals on all level of the professional setting of your country, you will not be able without human resources to build your country. And that's why the URSM wants to be a government, because we really have attention for these deficits that actually nobody have worked on. Even now, you still hear we still send patients abroad, send students abroad to study. They come back, and still they get resistance to come back to their home country to help with the knowledge that they got during their studies to help their country. We have to change that mentality if we want to work on nation building for Sint Maarten.
You know?
But the hospital does not have a backup plan in scenarios where they're backed up with so much patients that have to wait 2 months, supposing that this is an emergency.
The only way, Joseph, to do this is implement this draft law that I have, approve it, ratify it, and that is the only way that you're going to get more space to leave doctors from other countries except the Netherlands come and help us here. There's nothing wrong with a Cuban specialist, I'm telling you. We have 2 Venezuelan urologists now, Dr. Rojas and Dr. Ramos, doing a wonderful job. We had a big battle with government to actually convince them that these are good specialists recognized in their country. There was a whole battle because they did not have this big registration. And looking back, they're here about 2-3 years already working in our community, delivering excellent work, good quality level of care that they're giving to the people. So that is a proof that we will have to focus more in the region to get our professionals. And an advantage of that is also that regional specialists will feel better the culture and the history of our area. The communication will be more easier because they understand each other's cultural background, because they're all from the same environment. Not that that the Dutch doctor is not doing a good job, but I can imagine that if you come from a culture, in a totally different culture, there will be a lot of moments that you miss the details of a communication due to a cultural difference from the two countries that are working together at that specific moment. That is how it works. Healthcare is a very complex thing, and you have to really think very good about it if you want to improve it, change it, give it another direction. And Sint Maarten, because it's a young country, we are in the beginning, and I think if we have knowledgeable people that's going to hold each other's hand and brainstorm and see how we can do it, I think there is much good things to expect for the healthcare, especially that we have now the opportunity to start with a brand new hospital. If we do it good as of the beginning, it's going to be very promising for the people of Sint Maarten.
Doc, one of the things that I'm so happy that you mentioned is about nation building.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are looking at this party, and you are heading this party and saying, yes, but he's a doctor and he's just focusing on hospital.
No.
But ladies and gentlemen, let me assure you that we have a whole manifesto with social projects. We have projects that are funding money-generating projects, things that will help this country move forward. We have been stagnated. We have been stagnant for far too long. And right now, it is a pity that we're now talking about nation building. This is something that we've had to do 13 years ago, okay? And we are set in this quagmire. However, we're talking about community projects, okay? Because without our community projects, we are nothing. Community is where it starts. And I was talking to Joseph Peterson earlier today, and we were saying, listen, what are we going to bring to the people? What message? Let's put, for instance, if we have the community councils and projects working in cognizant with governmental institution, this is the first line of defense for government and for natural disasters.
Of course.
Okay, you have a full-fledged running community. What they know the logistics, they have the data with all the citizens based in their community. So, should a natural disaster
if
come
a
along,
national disaster happened, the Red Cross and thing can find all the information they need with the people that is there.
Exactly. And then when we're talking about protecting what is theirs, I saw an article come out talking about vandalism, all right? But if you hand the people the equipment and decide, listen, this is yours, and we have a full-fledged community, the community will then be the security guards. The community would then be the elders in the community. And should somebody from outside of the community come and damage these property, they always know, hey, that's not how it go. Or if someone from the community, hey, I know who's your father, I know who's your mother. The community is the first line of defense. And my question is that we have dropped the ball. And when I say we have dropped the ball, I'm talking about the older ones. And that's why we now have to come and take the mandate and take the bull by the horn.
Absolutely. And Herbert, we are talking about nation building. Nation building is built on two pillars. Working on education of your people.
Definitely.
And we are failing with our educational system. And secondly is combating poverty. If you want to make a country prosperous, you want to see dynamics of evolution in positive direction with the country, you will have to combat the controlling poverty at this particular moment in our country. Herbert, we have now in our country 29% of our populace is living as households under the $850 per month. Can you imagine a house with a father and a mother, or sometimes without a father, with 4 or 5 children together? They will live in a house, they have to pay rent, they have to eat, they have to drink, they have to go to school, they have to have clothing. All of that, telephone costs, transportation costs, all being shared under a amount of $850. Unacceptable. And you really think that if you keep these people poor, that we will have the combination poverty with an education, we are going to be doomed to fail. And the government that we have had in the recent 4 years did not put attention to education and combating poverty in our country. And gradually now we are seeing the effect of the increased poverty on the street, the struggling of the people, the dropouts of community walking around on the side of the streets. It's not only just primary mental health issues that put them so far. It's not only drugs, it's the desperacy also of having the feeling that you're living in a country that is promising for your future. And if we don't start working on our education, if we don't start working on combating poverty, we are busy cooperating to lose our country. Ladies and gentlemen, we can continue talking about this out of our enthusiasm because the URSM really wants to bring the change for country Sint Maarten with commitment, with vision, putting constantly the people and the country above self. Before we go over to more ideas that we have for Sint Maarten as of January 2024, we're going to take a small break and we will be back in a few minutes.
Your station for the latest news and information. Mix 94.7 FM.
Escape from your daily stress and life's hustle and bustle and get pampered by the experts at Angelic Touch Day Spa in Cole Bay. As soon as you enter, all your cares and worries will disappear. Treat yourself to a luxurious manicure and pedicure, including fabulous acrylic and gel nails by the Angelic Touch Nail Technicians. Angelic Touch also offers massages, waxing, and facial treatments, and uses the world-renowned Pavonia product line. Ask about their gift certificates, perfect for any celebration or occasion. Make your appointment by calling 721-544-4027 or 721-553-0865. Visit Angelic Touch Day Spa in Cole Bay. It'll be a heavenly experience.
I'm John Stempin, and I am an NPR newscast producer. I've been working the overnight shift for almost 30 years. Yeah, I know, long time. But there's something special about doing this job while you're probably asleep. While it's quiet in America, there's all sorts of news happening from Manila to Mumbai, Moscow to Nairobi. And while I'm producing, there's a little clock going in the back of my head, keeping track of all of NPR's far-flung bureaus. My day begins with brunch in Beijing and ends with breakfast in Brussels. Wherever you are, you can listen to your NPR station for the latest live news every hour of the day and night. NPR and this vital station are always working to bring you timely, fact-driven news.
94.7 Mix FM.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second half of our radio program, You Are Sint Maarten, on the Radio Mix 94.7. As I said in my introduction, we have today with us in our radio program Mr. Joseph Peterson. Mr. Joseph Peterson is a candidate on the URSM slate. And we have also in our radio program today Mr. Herbert Martina. Together with myself, of course, Dr. Marcelina, the three of us today having this radio program to actually inform and discuss issues with the people of this country. The URSM wants to be different, and the URSM is convinced that we have to empower the people of this country. How can we do that to empower the people? I said we have to have a good education level to bring to the people of this country. That means we need good educational institutions. We are talking about country Sint Maarten, and we do not have a national university for country Sint Maarten, and we are thinking that we have a country without having a university, and we want human resources enhancement for the country. We want to have more enhancing our professional treasury. The only way to do that is to have a university for the country. So we will have to work on a decent university for country Sint Maarten. Secondly, if we want to educate our people, we have a country called Sint Maarten and we do not have a library. Kids are coming out of school. Where are they going for a book? How can they go and look for literature to read, to actually enhance their knowledge? How can we have a country without a library? Guys, it's time for us to wake up. We need a library for country Sint Maarten, and we have to work to get that institutionalized. Further, I'm thinking about empowering the people of the country, especially now we have a big problem in our country. I did recently a study to see what are the differences between, for example, the Netherlands as the mother country and ourselves. We have, for example, in our country, the lower income class of Sint Maarten is 76% of our society. In the Netherlands, it's only 12%. Can you imagine? There's a dream to live in a community that you only have 12% of a lower income class compared to, for example, Sint Maarten with 67%. We are a poor country. People do not understand that because our lower class segment of our society is too big. Next to that, the middle class of Sint Maarten is 20%. In the Netherlands, the middle class is 80%. For me, that's a dream, to build up a Sint Maarten, to ever in the future have a middle class that consists of 80% of the community. At this particular moment, the middle class of Sint Maarten is only 20% compared to the Netherlands, 80%. And the high class, the high income class in the Netherlands is 8%, in Sint Maarten is 4%. But that is not so relevant. Important is how are we going to make better, enhance our 20% middle class and push it to the 80% like the Netherlands. How can we lower the 76% being the lower income class and push it back as low as possible and make it 12%? It's a big challenge for our country. We have a 29% households in our country that live with less than $850 per month. And something that is very shocking that I presented last night to, for example, the Lions Club, I told them in Sint Maarten, 25% of our populace does not have a medical insurance. Compared to the French side, it's 5%. Can you imagine the difference of having one out of each 4 persons in Sint Maarten, Dutch side, does not have a medical insurance, while in the French side, it's only 5% of our society in the French side that does not have an insurance. I think something is wrong. You want me to give you other shocking one? That one is that we have 42% of our community, society, our people does not have a finalized secondary school education. We are talking about the perspective of nation building. How can we build a nation if 42% of our populace does not have a finalized secondary school education? And the worst thing is our educational system is failing because we are since 10, we are a country. And if you look how it is nowadays, after 13 years having an education presented to the people of this country, if tomorrow I need a nurse in my country, in my hospital, I have to import this professional out of the Philippines, out of Suriname, or out of the Netherlands. You see also when you walk in the hospital, you see a lot of Philippines nurses. By the way, I'm very grateful that they're there to help us. Also nurses, medical professionals from Suriname or from the Netherlands. But I would like to see one day, I would like to walk around in my country and see my own Sint Maarten nurses helping my people of my country. Why? Because I'm a nation. I have my pride and I want to have the best for my country. And if I want that, I will have to work on educating my people in a way that I use the education system to serve the necessities of my labor market. As long as I just educate people to educate without asking what I'm educating and why I'm educating them, I can continue sending children to school. But after 20 years of sending them to school, I can still not get a nurse, a medical professional to serve my people. I have done something cardinal wrong for my country. I don't know what you think, Albert.
Those statistics, Doc, is quite shocking and alarming, to be quite honest. All right. However, let's break it down in layman terms because my ears and eyes are on the road and on the streets. And what I'm hearing here is when I go to people, I'm like, listen, I'd like you to support me. And they're like, Prince, how can we get jobs on this island? Prince, you know something? I need a house. What is happening here on St. Maarten that there's a house shortage, and house crisis. Then they're asking me, how come a young professional like myself can't even buy a piece of property? It's too much. You know, it's crazy compared to different countries. And when you see what's going on, those are the questions that the young professionals. And by the way, not only young professionals, but I'm seeing people who are police officers, the nurses, the teachers, you know, can't even afford to get a home. And those are the fundamental truths that we are living in today. All right? And then people are going to ask again, but Mr. Martina, what are you preaching different than all the other political parties? One thing I'm telling you, that the other political parties, they promise 1,000 houses.
1,500, I remember.
Well, they promised over 1,000
Where are they?
homes last 4 years. And my question is, are we not going to hold them responsible for giving us a promise, a false hope, a dream, a pie in the sky?
And having the 4 years, right? They got it 4 years.
Exactly.
They got it 4 years.
And as a matter of fact, they are the richest government that came in. And when I say the richest,
And you're right in that one.
They had the means.
They had a means.
Okay.
They had a World Bank behind him.
Exactly. They had the means. So what is wrong and what's going on?
Lack of vision.
Okay. Not only lack of vision, but I think the will.
Too.
All right.
Of course.
Because they were busy fighting and trying to survive to come with this stripe on their chest that we're the longest sitting government. But at what cost?
Yep.
The people are suffering.
Yep.
And today I'm asking myself, what is the URSM going to do?
Yes.
And those people out there are also asking, what is and what are the plans of
I will tell you.
URSM?
Okay, I will give you two. For example, you touch base on housing. We have the rent to own. That means that we're going to give the people the opportunity to rent a house, a social house. And we're going to see if we can, after 10, 15 years paying rent, we're going to put the house on their name. And that is a way to empower the people, that they have their own property or own real estate. They can use this as an equity, a collateral, to go to the bank and say, listen, I want to start a small business. I have my house. It's mortgage free. Use it as a collateral safety for me to get a mortgage or a loan to start a business. I think that's a way to help your people. A second one that the URSM has is to establish a national development bank for country Sint Maarten. A development bank means that we are going to give it's controlled by government, in the sense that we're going to give out mortgages to a low percentage to the people. So the interest rate, instead of being 7-8% like it is now in the commercial sector, in the commercial banking industry, we are going to get the opportunity to give the people of Sint Maarten mortgages at a very low interest rate of 1.5% to 2.5%, instead the commercial banking giving 7%. The fact that the interest rate is so high means that it's impossible for the people of this country to ever purchase a property in this country. Herbert, we have a problem. A policeman married with a teacher, I think, is a respectable family with a good education. This teacher is going to, with the policeman that we assume to be the middle class of this country, to a bank and tell the bank we want to become homeowners. So can you help us with a mortgage? And what you're going to see is they will not be able to get a mortgage to purchase a property here in Sint Maarten. So what does that mean? It means that we do not have a middle class, because everyone in the middle class should be able to get a mortgage to purchase a property. And that is not the case. We have a fictive middle class with a policeman and a teacher. But on the other side, if we come to doing business with the middle class, we see that we're going to deny them the opportunity to get a mortgage in this country. So at the end of the day, we will have to do something to actually empower the people of this country, for them to become financially more prosperous in a way that they can actually improve the livelihood of their life. And if government does not do that with them and for them, we're going to continue in the situation that we are in now in this country. So government will now have to take steps by educating the people, adjusting the education to the labor necessities of our community. Secondly, we will have to make sure that there is enough housing for the people, also enough social housing, and also enough affordable housing for the people. Especially the social housing, make sure that one day it will become ownership from those that have been renting these houses for years. And thirdly, we have to come with a development bank to help the people to get a mortgage at a low interest rate for them to be able to purchase a property. If we don't start helping the people, we are going to continue being in the same situation that we are in now. And I really believe it's time that the Eurosam gets the mandate of the people of this country for us to start doing what we have to do to actually improve the livelihood of everyone here in this country.
Also discussing today, a lot of people are asking, we see a lot of projects people want to do, and they're saying a lot of stuff, good stuff, but we've heard it before. How can we get money into our coffers? Okay? And I think that's very important. And as a political party, we should look at ways and means how to collect money and put it into our coffers. One of the things that I see that, they've been beating the proverbial drum about is something like a license. Okay, for overseas passengers. Okay,
the driver's license. Yes,
a temporary driver's license.
I think Anguilla is doing that, right?
Anguilla does it.
Yes.
The British Island does it.
Well, let's do it.
So a $5, a $7, $8. The study needs to be done.
I think Anguilla owners is $10 for 6 months, if I'm not mistaken.
Right here, you see different M plates on quads and stuff like that. Right, this can put some serious cash into our coffers. Why are we not doing this? Okay, as opposed to we see everybody always say, okay, let's put a tax here, and it's always coming out either from the tourist dollars or from the citizens. Okay, this is now the tourist decides, listen, we want to drive on St. Martin, and to make use of this these roads, we're going to pay a $5, a $10, whatever it is, a temporary license, and this can go into, for example, our road fund, because we know we had trouble getting some finances to pave our roads.
Exactly.
Right? That's one. And the next thing that we have to look at, Doc, and Mr. Peterson, is getting these fines that were given and collecting on them. I don't know what it is, but whenever we get fines or fines are issued, for some reason it is a problem collecting them. All right, that can fill a huge hole. And my question is, why are we not going into that?
Herbert, there's a lot that we have to work on, and especially sometimes Herbert, at night I wake up and I realize the challenges on all fronts that we are confronting. And I pray to God sometimes to give me the right power of mind to deal with the challenges of this country, because I realize we are failing on all fronts in this country. We are failing on the level of education. We are failing on the level of healthcare. We are failing with our airport. We are failing with our utility company of our country. And we are failing with our infrastructure. Take simply the quality of our roads nowadays. You can see it today. If you see how many holes I drove over to get to this radio station in Madame Estate, it's scary to realize how we as a country are failing on all levels, combined not only with failing with utility, healthcare, education, and infrastructure, and airport, and utility, as I said, but we are failing also in the sense that we are making our people more poor every day again, and it's a big challenge. In the past, Herbert and Joseph, I remember my mother used to live from month end to month end. Nowadays, people wake up in this country just to live, to see how they're going to survive the day. imagine, I remember my mom making envelopes to put money in this to pay current, this is to pay the water, this was to buy bread, and she did it. I can see it in front of me as a child, and it used to go from month end to month end. And nowadays, we are just waking up and wondering if we are going to survive this specific day that we woke up in. And I think that it's very, very scary. We will have to do something for the people to get a little more comfort in this country. And if you get more comfort, you're going to feel a little more space. You're going to get a little more power to spend money. You're going to feel yourself safer. You're going to start loving your country. And at the end of the day, you're going to live in a beautiful country, Sint Maarten, as it used to be in the 80s and in the 90s. It's all over now. And we are destroying our country. And it is time now for us to work hard to get our country back on track.
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't want you to listen to this and think that it is doom and gloom and all hope is gone. Here it is, a new, fresh set of minds. And when I say a fresh set of minds, a renewed hope. Doc have ran before. I have ran before. This is Mr. Peterson's first time. However, we are here with a renewed sense of hope that things can get better. However, we can't keep on doing the same thing and expecting different results.
Yes.
We need to go and equip ourselves, vote. We need to go out there and give the URSM the mandate. Give this new movement, and I say a movement, give them the mandate. If it's not myself, if it's not Doc, there's Peterson, there's a lot of other candidates that you can choose from.
Yes.
And I'm saying, give us the mandate and let us show you what we can do. Now, a lot of people are talking this game, and they're going around and saying, yes, give us the mandate and stuff. But you have had the mandate for quite so long. You've had the mandate for a whole political term. And what have you done with it? And now it's time to go back to the polls. You're scraping, you're scrabbling, and you're trying to fool the people. But no longer shall the people of St. Maarten be fooled. Don't go for glitz and glam. Go for fundamental truth. Go for a real positive change. And that's what the message that we're going around and giving the people of St. Maarten, okay? Not only just talk and lip service, but equipping them.
Yeah. Be different.
Exactly, with the difference.
Be the change.
All right?
Yep.
We have so much professionals on our team.
Don't try to be the change, just be the change.
Be the change. We have professionals on our teams that are ready to take up the challenge.
Yeah. One of the challenges I had in the beginning is I wanted per se to have a representation of all professional sectors in our community. And I think we have been very successful in doing that with our party. For example, we have yourself, Herbert. You have been one of the persons working by the World Bank, knowing the statistics, the necessities, the projects that are on the go at this particular moment. We have a lawyer in the name of, for example, Shamira Roosburg. She is a lawyer, has been fighting forever for the human rights of the detainees in the detention center. We have 2 police officers also on our list. One of them is even the president of one of the unions of the police, knowing exactly what the Justice Department is going through. We have entrepreneurs in our list of candidates. We have also doctors on board. We have people with the education background on board. So we have tried to give a good representation of all the professional sectors of our country. I'm not even talking about all the committees in the background. We have a legal committee. In there we have 7 lawyers. We have a health committee. In that one we have 6 doctors helping us in the background. We have a neighborhood committee. We have a country plan committee. In all these committees we have a lot of people working in the background. It's not only the candidates that you're going to see on the slate that is representing the URSM. No, it's a whole group of people with a great heart for the country that is ready to help the country, not like only being a candidate, but a lot behind the scenes. The screens are going to help us also with governing this country. Ladies and gentlemen, The future of Sint Maarten is in your hands, and I believe personally as leader of the URSM that we have one more chance with this country, and that is on the 11th of January. If you want to change tomorrow, you will have to change today. And if you want to change the government of Sint Maarten tomorrow, you will have to vote different today. And that's why the URSM is there. We are offering a great group of people, and it's all in your hands. It's your choice. It's in your hands. You are going to decide tomorrow, as of 2024, who is going to be the government that is going to take care of your business. The URSM is ready to help you. We cannot tell you for who you have to vote. That is your basic human right. That is for you. But on the other side, the URSM is asking, requesting you humbly, out of our heart from the URSM, for you to consider one of the candidates on the URSM list. Before we finalize this radio program, I would like to give all the ones participating in this radio program, being Mr. Joseph Peterson and Mr. Herbert Martina and myself, the last opportunity in the form of an open floor to say something great to the people, to give them hope and trust for the future of this country. Mr. Peterson.
Well, I would hope that the people of Sint Maarten who's listening understand the dilemma that we are heading into, and we want to make sure that you all know, if you do not come out and vote to make a change, the same party is going to win the election, and we are heading down to the same road that we've been facing for the last 4 years. So if you want change, come out and vote, make a choice, and vote for the party that is going to make the changes for you and that is capable of making the changes. And so far, I see the URSM has all the candidates. We have the technologies. I showed Herbert the technologies that I have did the researches on, and we got a lot of stuff planned in the works for Sint Maarten.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, before I do my outro, I would like to remind you that postulation day is the 23rd.
22nd.
Actually, is the 22nd. However, endorsing
the nomination.
Yes, the nomination
Is
day.
the 20
Endorsing is the 23rd of this month. So watch out. After postulation, you would see a lot of things unraveling. Me too, as a candidate, Herbert Martina, caring for country, community, and people. That is what we're going for. You would see us rolling out different plans and different points and hot button issues. You would see us on the campaign trail. And when you see me, please shout out to me and let me talk to you so that, we can garner as much support as possible. Again, the URSM, Unified Resilient St. Maarten Movement, is here and is a force to be reckoned with. And not only asking you for your vote of confidence, but after election, you will be seeing us as well. Why? Because we are a party that believes in inclusion, and we will be visiting every once in a while in your neighborhood.
Absolutely. As Herbert said, ladies and gentlemen, the coming November the 22nd is Postulation Day. Postulation Day is the day that the new political parties... the Postulation Day is the day that all political parties are going to hand over their slate to the Central Voting Bureau. That is Postulation Day, and the Postulation Day this time will be on the 22nd of November. For the URSM, on Postulation Day, being the 22nd of November, we have to actually hand over our slate at 3 o'clock in the afternoon next week, Wednesday, the 22nd of November. I'm asking all supporters of the URSM to please join us at 2:30 in front of the Little League ballpark combined with the Carnival Village. We will be all standing there, and we will walk from this Carnival Village parking lot. We are going to march and go to the Parliament building, where the board of the Central Voting Bureau is waiting for us to hand over officially our candidate slate with the candidates that are going to contest the upcoming parliamentary elections for County Sint Maarten. Next to that, on the 23rd, we call that the nomination day. And on the nomination day, all new political parties by law must be endorsed with a amount of signatures. In this case, the URSM is a new political party. So we will have to get the approval, the endorsement of the people of this country. And that means that on the 23rd of November, being next week Thursday, we are expecting all our supporters from the URSM to come and support us, sign and endorse us, for us to have your signature, for you to endorse us, for us to be able to contest the upcoming elections on the 11th of January. So my supporters, my people, all my fans of the URSM, I'm inviting you by means of this radio program at this particular moment. Please join us on Thursday next week, the 23rd of November. Come to the government building at 9 o'clock in the morning. Don't forget your ID. It can be a passport, a driving license, or just your ID for you to be able to identify yourself. You just stand there in the row. It's going to go very fast. You're not going to lose your morning, believe me. You're just going to walk in by the government building, by the census registry there, and you're going to just put your signature under the URSM, and we're going to make sure that as soon as possible we can get those 134 signatures to approve and endorse us. Ladies and gentlemen, people of Sint Maarten, the URSM loves you. This URSM is here for you, and we are counting on your support on the 22nd to walk with us to the Parliament building at 2:30, for us to be at the Parliament building at 3 o'clock to hand over our slate. And we are awaiting you the next day, the 23rd, on the Thursday, the next week, Thursday, the 23rd of November, for you to come 9 o'clock in the morning to the government building, for you to just put your signature under the URSM to endorse our political party, so we will be able to contest the upcoming elections. We are going to change this Sint Maarten together, and the URSM is counting on you, and you must count on this URSM. I want to thank you for taking your time out to be with us tonight in this radio program, and we are looking forward to have you back next week Wednesday from 6 to 7 on our radio program, You Are Sint Maarten, on Radio Mix 94.7. Wishing you a pleasant evening. Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.